story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 2 of the New York State Open played up in Lake George, New York. Beautiful country. It's a game that I played in. It's my first round. I already posted. Not an easy game, but a fairly easy game where unfortunately my opponent just miscued and everything fell apart for him. This is round 2. I'm white. My opponent, Mr. Murphy, is black. And I don't normally do this, but I've been trying to do this lately, is D4. I'm normally an E4 player, but I am sick to death and nauseum on all the Sicilians. So, knight F6, C4, typical stuff. It's a Nimzo Indian. Queen to C2. That was my memory, what's supposed to be done. According to the computer, knight to F3 and bishop to D2 or E3. Oh well, it's not the end of the world. Castles. Bishop G5. So far, I think since move 3, I've picked 0, what the computer wanted. After E4, D5, E5, knight E4, and that's as far as the computer suggested. After I played bishop to G5, he went C5. I picked the computer's, well, now it's the first choice, so I feel a little better about it now. Knight to F3. It's game 60. I played on the short 2-day schedule, so excuse me. I didn't want to spend a ton of time in the opening. I just wanted to get developed and played from there. D5. Computer said he should have played H6, and after bishop takes, queen takes, A3, bishop takes, queen takes. What a tiny advantage for black, nothing worth mentioning. After D5, I probably should have castled long. I thought about it. None of the choices on the computer are what I did. I played E3. If I had a castle, after C takes, rook takes, bishop E7. And that would have been an advantage for me. And you'll see later, castling on the queen side might have been a better idea. Doesn't mean I lost the game, but you'll see in the end. Knight to D7. I played C takes. He played E takes. Bishop D3, just to get developed. Queen E8, which I don't know where he got that from. I know he wanted the pin off the queen. But E8, I was a little surprised. And I castled. Hey, yay for me. I took the computer move. He played bishop takes. And I played B takes. Excuse me. And he played C4, kicking the bishop, and I went bishop F5. Now I'm up what I call the minor, or up the minor exchange. Bishop for a knight. I've got the bishop pair. Let's see how it works out. Knight to E4. Fairly aggressive. I probably should have played bishop takes. But instead I took the computer's second choice, bishop F4. If I had taken queen takes, pawn takes, knight to D2. Actually, I like that version a lot better than what happened, to tell you the truth. Bishop F4, knight comes up. Bishop takes, rook takes. I just moved my rook to guard my e-pawn. In the file later down the road. That knight on E4 is a big pain in my behind. He played knight to H5. And I took the computer move. One of the main computer moves. Knight to G5. Now, here's a question mark for my opponent's next move. Knight takes F4. So knight takes G5. Bishop takes F6. Would have been better for black. He played knight takes F4. And I played E takes. And I felt a lot better. I think I've got great control over the center. This square, and this square as well. He went F5. Now right now it shows over a 2-point advantage for me. And I played f3. And he went a little wacky here, I think. He played h6. Now at this point I was really surprised, because you can see, of course, my rook, his knight's pinned against his queen. So I went knight to h3, of course. He went queen to f7. I took the knight, the f-pawn takes, and I go rook to f1. Probably wasn't the greatest move in the world. I think queen to e2 might have been a little better, queen to a4. I went rook to f1. Now I've got a knight for a pawn now. But the problem is that knight's stuck babysitting that pawn. Rook to c6. Queen to f2. Okay, there we go. Knight's in a bad spot. I'll eventually get him out. Queen to f5. I thought about this for quite a while. I probably should have done what the computer suggested. I had thought about a rook a to b1. Rook f to b1. I went queen to h4. And that wasn't a very good move. I thought it was okay. I was trying to get my knight out. He moved rook to g6. Here comes the attack. And I'm like, oh boy. Rook a to e1. When the computer moves, I was pretty proud of that. Rook to e8. And rook to e3. I need to stop that pawn, and I did. And that rook's also in a good spot too. Excuse me, to swing over, tap out over here, or even attack later. Rook to g4. Queen to f2, it says, was a better move. Again, I didn't want to take the square away from the knight, so I went queen to e1. Rook to e6. Now I want to say at this point, I didn't realize I was eating up so much time. I looked over at my clock and I had like 10 minutes left. This is game 60 with a 10-second delay. No increment, but a 10-second delay. And I'm like, oh man, and the attack's coming. I've got to figure out something here. One false move and I'm doomed. I went g3. Computer calls for rook to e2 to guard the g-pawn. I went g3. I couldn't eat up too much time. I just had to set something solid. The rook on e3 is guarding the g-pawn. He went rook over. Now, believe it or not, I'm still up over 2 points in score, but I put myself back into a corner. He went king to h1, which gave me a tempo. Or I went king to h1, excuse me. He went queen to h5, hitting that knight. What to do, what to do? The top two choices are knight to g1 and f5. I went f5. Attacking his rook. He went rook to f6. It says go king to g2, but I like knight to f4 better. It's a little more forcing. He went queen to f7. Now we're on move 30. There is no double time control. This is game 60 period. It's sudden death. It's a terrible move. Double question mark for black. And I'm up by almost 5 points. h3. Rook to f4, excuse me, g5. And I went g4. I'm in good shape right now. Very good shape. Rook to b6. Rook to g3. And this is where I stopped recording the game, because that was under 5 minutes. I had, around this time, 40 or 50 seconds left. And I was just playing on instinct. And eventually what happened was I trapped this rook and won it. I was a full rook up. My queen was down here. My rook was here. And I opened up the position enough where his queen came in through a roundabout way. this way or something like that, and got in here and caused a perpetual. He offered me a draw around here. Seeing I was so low on time, I think he knew he was losing. It doesn't hurt to offer. And I said, no, thank you, I want to play on. And when I got down to this point, it was about 11 or 12 seconds on my clock towards the end of the game. And he had a perpetual on me. This rook and this rook, I believe, got traded. He lost this rook. And I had a queen and a rook right on his king. His G-pawn was saved him. Ended up being a perpetual. And I drew the game. I was pretty upset. But, that's part of the game. I didn't see the perpetual coming. I was just concentrating on meeting his king. So the draw was agreed, of course, with the perpetual. I was pretty disgusted. But that's the way the breaks go sometimes. So that's my game from round 2. If I'm not mistaken, this gentleman, Mr. Murphy, I think the only points he scored this whole tournament was this draw. So when I saw that later, I was a little upset. Anyway, folks, that's my game from round 2. I hope you enjoyed it. Be careful on those perpetual, folks. Sometimes you worry about your own king and not his. I couldn't get mated. I didn't have to worry about that, but I was too concentrating a little bit. 11 seconds left. Want you all to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Well, fans, it all comes down to this moment. This is where it all gets decided. Johnson steps in, checks the signs, makes a few adjustments. This is a classic confrontation. He's digging in. Here's the delivery. And there it goes. He's going back, way back. It is going. It is gone.
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
The ball game's over.